Hello, brothers and sisters of the church. Today is December the 12th, 2024. I did make it to Rio de Janeiro. It's summertime here, and I'm sitting in one of my favorite spots at the mission house. It's just a little table outside and surrounded by a few plants. It was a busy trip, and the Lord provided all along the way. And that really matches a part of the reading for today. I was continuing in the challenge which Brother Chuck had given us of reading a chapter out of Luke each day. And today's reading really could not have been timed any better. Today's Luke chapter 12, and this is where Christ speaks of God's watchful eye over us, His care for us. Sometimes I know people feel like God doesn't really care for me. He's not watching over me. But Jesus speaks of that God even numbers the sparrows. He cares about the sparrows. He says in verse 6 of Luke 12, he says, "Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 cents? Yet not one of them is forgotten before God." So the smallest of creatures, a creature which it's saying has really almost no monetary value, God cares for it. So if He would care about something that's so worthless in a sense, He loves and cares about you. Jesus takes it a little bit further to speak of how intimately God knows you. That might be terrifying to some to think that God knows everything about me, but that should be a real freedom in that He knows everything about you, and yet He still loves you. That's what I really think about from the story of the woman at the well out of John chapter 4. When she's had her encounter with Jesus, she ends up running back to the town, leaving the water jug that she had come to fill at the well. In other words, she left her burden behind at the well, and she ran into the city and told the people, "Come see a man who knows everything about me. Yet he talked to me. He loves me anyway." That's where it should be comforting for each of us. He knows you inside and out, down to the very numbers of the hair on your head. And yet He loves you. I hope that today you find some freedom in that, in knowing God's reassured love for you. Trust in His provision. Even in the difficult times, God knows your needs, and He will provide for you. He's not necessarily going to give you what you want, but He is going to give you what you need. The Lord will take care of us each step of the way. And then reject fear. That can be so paralyzing, especially in today's society. But replace worry with faith. That's a part of how we overcome fear, is making sure that we have a pure, unadulterated faith in God, knowing that He will take care of us, knowing that there's nothing that can happen today or tomorrow that God doesn't already know about. Whenever I am able to pause and say, God knew about this before it happened, when I do that, it's so free. It just gives me such freedom that I never could really imagine what it was like before, realizing that God's in full control. And then to rest in His value of you. You're valuable to the Lord. He sent His one and only Son to die for you, to suffer for you. So you're valuable to Him. Well, brothers and sisters, I do hope and pray that your day's going well. As you can tell, here in the city, sometimes a little busy. Sometimes there's planes flying overhead, motorcycles, horses even running down the street. Do lift up this time and this work in your prayers as well. Till next time, God bless.